15-year-old Timothy Ferguson was found dead in a basement closet at his mother's Michigan home, severely malnourished and showing signs of prolonged abuse.
How does she not know she's starving? How does she not see that he's wasting away? And you here, you're telling me that you've got some mental health issues, but you graduated from high school, and it's very obvious to you. She's a liar. She's lied to you about so much stuff. She put you in this spot. She did this to your brother, using you.
Right now we got some people coming over to talk to you, okay? You have another son inside the house?
I have two. Yeah.
Are they sleeping still right now?
One of them is, yeah. The 20-year-old's awake.
He's 20?
No, the 20-year-old's awake.
Okay.
He ate something last night. I can't remember what it was now. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Where's your husband now?
He's down at his parents' house because he can't get in our house because of this drunk. He can't get up the stairs.
Oh.
And nobody's answering the phone at their house. How did he...
Now you said the last time you saw him was 5:30 this morning?
Yeah.
Did he say anything?
He had fallen out of bed.
At 5:30?
Yeah.
You sure it wasn't earlier?
I mean, it's possible. I thought it was 5:30, but I wasn't super awake. I heard a thunk, and I came down, and he's kind of laying on his side, kind of like, what the heck? And I reached out, and I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry.
Where does he sleep at? Right there in that room?
That loft bed.
Okay. So notice there's another loft bed in another room.
Yeah, that's my 7-year-old, but he's been sleeping with me since because the youngest is my husband's and mine. Mm-hmm. And he's been sleeping with me since his daddy had a stroke.
Okay.
Because he's scared. And I offered to let Timothy move in there but he wanted to stay. No.
We have people coming to talk to you called Victim Services.
Okay.
They'll help you through
Thank you.
the grieving process because...
Please. I feel... He's really good at hiding stuff. That's part of the reason his dad couldn't handle him is because he kept lying about stuff.
How old is he?
15. He'll be 16 in August.
Okay.
But his dad texted me last May and said, I can't handle him anymore. I have to send him to live with you. And I'm like, yeah, sure, absolutely.
Why was that? What did he do that?
He said he was lying to him. He was destroying things.
Is he hard to deal with?
I don't think so, but I'm stricter than his dad.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that, I mean, he's the lying's been a problem. But nothing major.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
No. He's...
All teenagers lie.
Tripped down the stairs a couple of times, like just half the flight. And then later he came back to me, admitted he did it intentionally. But I've asked him, I'm like, you're trying to hurt yourself? He's like, no, I just wanted to see what would happen. That's the way, a lot of times, he wants to see what would happen if he does stuff. And, oh my gosh.
And I guess he's prescribed ADHD medicine, but he's not taking it.
Yeah, because he wasn't able to sleep with it. And he was doing really well, and he asked me if he could not take it, and I said, okay. To hide anyway, and...
The good part is that you're handcuffed in front, so it's a little bit.
Her 15-year-old son died yesterday, and she's charged with child abuse.
Okay.
So she has a lot of medical problems, but she really doesn't take any medication. But she does need
Any mental health issues at all?
yeah,
ADHD?
OCD, and
OCD just means she's...
just like the hands. There you go. There's pictures on the wall for you, my dear.
Oh, I'm not.
That's all right. You've never done this before, so.
All right.
Go ahead, father.
Just yet. Since the police showed up at your house and they brought you down here, I want to advise you some rights before we talk about that sort of thing. What I do want you to know, though, is that we went through your phones, okay?
Okay.
And we're beginning to go through the phones, and there's a lot of evidence in the phones, and I know that you're kind of aware of communication between yourself and your mother.
Yes.
And those sort of things. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
But, I mean, certainly those are very serious things that you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
And when we talk about, I just jump right into it.
Yeah.
I know that we talked yesterday, and
Yeah.
I know that not everything that we talked about was the truth yesterday. That's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to feel bad. You don't have to feel guilty about not telling the truth to me, okay? I want you to just focus on yourself right now and think about what's best for you.
Yeah.
And try to get to the truth of what really happened with your brother, because he deserves that. I mean, there's clearly a lot of messages about stuff that you guys are doing with him, about what he's eating, about restricting his food. What type of like disorders does he have that you're aware of?
I know he has ADHD. I believe he has sensory processing.
Okay.
I was never there for any sort of autism spectrum test, but from what I've seen, I know that probably was a thing. I also know he was motor and speech impaired. He couldn't run right and talk right. I think when he was younger, he had to have a surgery on his ears to have tubes put in because he has heightened hearing that was very loud noises could be painful.
Okay. So too much.
Yeah. The fact is that he could hear my stepmother talking with a friend about going to a movie with the TV when it was on really high volume.
Okay.
Because one of those sort of pointers.
What about you? Do you have any of those sort of things or anything?
I have ADHD.
Okay. Currently, how did we get to the point where we were at? Because, clearly where you guys got to, you say you was in the bath. That wasn't a nice, enjoyable bath though, right? That was a punishment bath, right? That's a cold, ice cold bath. And that's hard to
I
understand.
did wash. I did tell him that if he wanted to wash up, and he did. But then, in the middle of it, I think the whole laying there in a daze happened.
When he's getting these ice baths, I know there's numerous of them, right? I mean, because I've read through the messages.
Yes.
How are you getting the ice? Like, where's it coming from?
We have an ice machine upstairs. It's not a lot. It can barely create any. It's enough to make it a full-on.
Okay. But it's a cold bath.
Yeah.
And you're putting ice in there? Like, one dump of ice, two dump?
One dump. Yeah, it's maybe that much.
And then you're just running cold water, or what type of water?
The water doesn't exactly go cold.
Okay.
It says there's a cold button, but it's basically sort of lukewarm-ish.
How many times would you estimate that you guys gave cold baths as a punishment for not behaving or whatever, for whatever reason?
I think for punishments, it was... I don't exactly know the number, but it wasn't a lot.
Are we talking like 5, 10, 20, every day, every other day? Like any idea?
5. But
whose idea was it to give him a cold bath as a punishment?
it was my mother's.
He's sleeping in the closet.
Yes, we made sure that it was cleaned. He had a mattress in there, but then he decided to rip off the cover, like a sort of plastic cover we put on there to keep it from getting smelly and disgusting. We always wanted what's best for him.
You moved into that closet. Is that your idea or is that your mom's idea?
That was my mother's. Yes.
And so, whose idea was it for him to just eat bread? Is that your idea?
No,
Whose idea was that?
my mother's.
Tell me about the hot sauce. I know that was used as both a punishment and it was put on the bread. Was it always on the bread?
Not always, no. But the thing is, it still hardly did anything for him.
Yeah.
There would be times where it would do something for me because I'd accidentally rub my eye after I put it on there. It was, ow.
Yeah. So you're putting, what dictates whether or not there's hot sauce that he's eating? What decides that?
I don't know. Whenever my mother told me to put hot sauce on it, I did. It was normally a thin layer to make sure that it wouldn't be too much. Because from what I know, the Ghost, or the California Reaper is, 2,000 Scoville? Or 2 million Scoville?
What does that mean?
It's the hot sauce, or the heat index, basically.
Okay. And that's pretty high?
Very.
So how long have you guys been using the hot sauce for?
Almost a month, maybe.
Okay. And was that only on bread, or was that on other stuff too?
I think one time we put it in some rice,
Okay.
but after that, I don't think we did that again.
What was it used for, right? Because you're giving them bread as a meal. What's the purpose of the hot sauce?
I know it was punishment, but honestly, I don't think it was that useful because, like I said, he had no feeling in his tongue. He literally bit a hole in it at one point and didn't even feel it.
Was he eating this bread with the hot sauce, or was he?
Yeah, he was.
Is that really the only thing? Some bread and hot sauce?
Maybe the 4 months thing. Or 1 month, sorry. Jeez. I was thinking 4 weeks and my brain scrambled that.
We totally understand. I understand what you're saying. So maybe about 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And how does she communicate with you?
Text. Via text.
From her phone to your phone? Or?
Yes.
Okay. And how does she communicate with the other kids?
Through the alarms, because they do have that dual way talking. But
so she can talk to them through
the
camera system or the alarms?
Yeah. It's cameras, not alarms. Jesus.
Okay.
The alarms don't have. I can't.
So she's able to communicate with them that way. She's communicating with you via text.
Yes, Timothy doesn't have anything to text with. He does, but I don't think because we couldn't trust him on devices, so we couldn't exactly.
So you have her kind of monitoring everything.
I do sometimes at some points. Yes, I will log into the cameras and make sure that I don't have Gabriel's app because normally before I leave, he's upstairs in her room. He's been like that for a while. Timothy's or Gabriel's? I don't know about that one, honestly.
Do you know what app was Timothy's?
The one for his room, I think Mama had that one. I know the one in the bathroom was Blue something, BLU, and then something else.
Okay.
And then the one in the downstairs area was Tekken.
Okay. So wait, there was Timothy had his own too in his room?
Yes, but that was before we moved him into the closet. That the Tekken was for when he was there, and it was also
make sure that the camera's in there and take the shower curtain down so I can see him. Didn't she ask you that the day before he passed away?
Yeah.
So she shouldn't be using hot sauce as a punishment, right? She knows better than that, and you know better than that too, right? I think that anybody with some common sense knows that hot sauce is not something used to punish a child for eating food that they're not supposed to eat, or for disrespect, or for not following orders. We know those things aren't okay.
I know that. We've tried so many different things. We're running out of options of trying to find a punishment that would actually work, and even that did nothing.
Right.
And we still kept trying though. I don't know why.
So you have the hot sauce. Tell me about the handcuffs. I know that once again, she took no blame for that, right? And who did she put it all on? She put it all on you. She said that was your idea and that those were yours and that you did those things. But I think that's not the truth from what I read on here. What's the real truth on that?
We would have him against the wall at some points and he would try to move. And at one point we'd actually put motion sensors on him to stop that. But
on him himself?
Yeah, like they were they would sense any sort of vibrations. Yeah. But the thing is that he'd learned to trick them by moving so slow, or they'd be on his door and it'd be moving so slow that it wouldn't set it off, so you'd get away with stuff.
Okay.
So
you're saying standing still, was that like a punishment that he was forced to stand
on the
still?
wall, yeah, against the wall, he was sleeping.
So who's monitoring this all the time? Like who's making sure he's not sleeping during the day? Who's making sure he stands against the wall?
When my mother was at work, she'd have me log in before she'd leave. I'd come upstairs and go back to sleep on the couch. I'd set an alarm normally for 10:30 to 11:30 so that I could wake up and be up to keep things going around the house, keep everything in order.
Okay. Well, handcuffs or zip ties, what did you guys use those for?
Zip ties were either to fasten the vibrational arms to his belt during the day,
Yeah.
or to put it on his wrist, not too tight and I would make sure, after the first time we did it, I would make sure to cut off the end of the zip ties because I had them loose. And then he decided to tighten them to where they were nearly cutting off circulation.
Yeah.
So after that point, I myself, when I was told to put him into zip ties, I'd grab a pair of scissors and snip off the ends to make sure that he couldn't tighten it to where it was cutting anything off.
Were you guys ever zip tying his hands together?
His hands, I think we did once when we had a pair of them that the zip cuffs.
Okay.
But again, I'd cut those off to make sure that he wouldn't tighten them. Yeah, because
What was that for? Why would you use those to
normally we have him do this. It was something that I'm not sure if it was my father or my mother back when they were together. But when we were put in timeout, we'd be told to do this. And so sometimes though he'd try and do stuff like this, or just try and put his hands down or down by his sides. So we do that to keep them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the night before, I know that you said you got home. When you first talked to us and you talked to the police, you said he was on his bunk bed, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the truth.
No.
Okay. So you told us that you heard him snoring. Was that a lie?
Yeah.
And did you come up with that on your own, or did somebody ask you to say that he was in the bed? It's okay.
I know.
It's okay.
I feel so guilty, like I could have done one that I didn't see, but
Okay. So you guys pull him out of the closet.
and we tried to resuscitate him. We gave him rescue breaths. His breath smelled horrible. I thought maybe he might have still been capable of being resuscitated, but his mouth was still wet.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe it had just been recent, so we could do something. But
When you were at work, right? You came. Maybe she wasn't to you. Maybe she was a good mother to you, and maybe she wasn't to Gabriel. Sounds like she's a very good mother to Gabriel. But to one of the three children, she didn't care. You can say it if you want. She starved him to death because he wouldn't stop taking food. Well, maybe he's taking food because he wants to live. Have you ever thought about that?
yes,
Maybe he's stealing food so that he can survive. He's dead because he didn't get food.
I know that.
Well, that's not anybody's fault but your mother's. And you can try to take some of the blame if you want, but it's her fault because every single time I see a message in here, it's her telling you what to do. And she put you right in the middle of this. She put you right in the middle of this where it looks like some of the stuff's your idea. And it actually looks like in some of these things that you kind of enjoy it. That you kind of enjoy punishing him for doing wrong things. Do you feel like you kind of enjoy punishing him for that stuff?
No.
Maybe not that he was in pain, but that you were in charge and you got to tell him, you can't do that, go do this. You need food to survive. You need food to live. He didn't get to live because of that. Because of what you guys did. And I'm sitting here talking to you because I think that way more of it has to do with your mom than you. I don't think that you're this bad person that was out here doing these things. But you're also still not telling me the whole truth about what happened that night. About the night that
If I could take his place right now, if I could give him back his life, I'd do it in a dadgum heartbeat.
How can a woman that's this smart, this intelligent, graduate from law school, how could she not know what's happening? How could she think this is fake? How does she not know she's starving him? How does she not see that he's wasting away? And you're telling me that you've got some mental health issues, but you graduated from high school, and it's very obvious to you. She's a liar. She's lied to you about so much stuff. She put you in this spot. She did this to your brother, using you.
open murder and child abuse.
If you love the video, like, share and subscribe the channel.